I knew moving in with a stranger might be weird, but I didn't expect my new roommate to be this weird. Jace was a lot. Tall, silent, and somehow always shirtless. He barely talked, just nodded, or grunted, or gave me this look like I was some stray dog he was tolerating out of pity. I was just trying to live my broke college student life. Okay? Pay rent, eat instant noodles, pass my midterms, not get into trouble. But no. Trouble had abs and cheekbones and was currently fixing the kitchen sink like he was born to be in a drama series. Can you not do that shirtless? I asked, walking in with my cereal. It's distracting. He didn't even look at me. You don't have to look. Oh, believe me, I'm not. I'm just trying to save humanity from temptation. Nothing. Not even a smirk. I hated how cool he was. Like, could he just be awkward once? Cry over a broken charger? Trip on the stairs? No. He was some kind of marble statue that cooked perfectly, folded his laundry like origami, and for some reason always left coffee for me in the morning. And I hated that I was starting to notice him. Like really notice him. It didn't help that we had some kind of weird chemistry. Like that time I came out of the shower in just a towel and he accidentally walked in and paused for way too long. Or when I fell asleep on the couch, and he gently moved my head onto a pillow and threw a blanket over me like some freaking romantic K-drama lead. But then he'd ruin it by saying things like, "Don't get the wrong idea. We're just roommates. Just roommates." My foot. One night, my best friend Luca came over. Loud, funny, flirtatious Luca. He always teased me about Jace. "So," he said, eyeing Jace as he passed through the living room, "how's living with Mr. Ice Prince?" "He's not a prince," I muttered. "He's a full-on dictator. Hot dictator," Luca whispered as Jace bent over to pick up something. I elbowed him, but yeah, he wasn't wrong. We played a few rounds of Mario Kart, and somehow Jace ended up joining. He didn't say much, just quietly crushed both of us. Didn't even blink. When Luca jokingly leaned on Jace's shoulder and said, "Guess you're my gaming husband now," Jace didn't laugh. He just said, "I already have a roommate. That's enough trouble." I pretended not to hear it. My face was hot. The night things got weird started normal. I had exams. I was stressed. Jace had bought pizza for roommate morale, which was suspiciously thoughtful. We started watching dumb horror movies. I made fun of them. He didn't say much but didn't stop me. We drank. A lot. Somehow ended up doing a drinking game with truth or dare rules. "Truth," I slurred. He looked at me. Really looked at me. His eyes were dark. "You like living here?" "Duh," I said. "I like the apartment." "What about the roommate?" I blinked. The room swam. "He's okay. Kind of annoying. Always serious. Hot, though." I think he smiled. Maybe I imagined it. Then I dared him to tell me his biggest secret. He leaned in real close and said, "I already did." I laughed. "You didn't say anything." He just tapped his chest. "I did." I passed out on the couch shortly after. I woke up in bed. That was already confusing. I stretched and froze. Jace's arm was around me, tight, holding me like I was something breakable. His chest pressed against my back. He was breathing softly, peacefully, like this was normal. I blinked. What the hell? I looked down and saw the ring, a simple silver band on my finger. I stared at it, then at his arm, then back at the ring. What the actual hell? I tried to move and he stirred. His voice was low and sleepy. "Stop squirming. You're warm." I shoved his arm off and jumped out of bed. "Why am I wearing a ring?" He sat up slowly, rubbing his eyes. Loud. "Jace." He looked at me and for once he looked caught. "You don't remember?" "No. I don't remember getting engaged in the middle of the night. Thanks." He got up, shirtless of course, and walked to the kitchen like this was a normal Monday morning. "We were drunk." "That's not an excuse." "You said yes." I stared at him. "I said yes to what?" He opened the fridge. "To marrying me." I opened my mouth, closed it, sat down, then whispered, "Are you serious?" He looked over his shoulder, calm as ever. Do you see me joking? My brain was short-circuiting. Where's the ring from? Did we go out? Did we kiss? Did we do other stuff? He didn't answer that, which was worse than answering. Take it off, I said quickly. I yanked at the ring. I don't want this. It won't come off, he said simply. I tugged harder. Soap, lotion. Nothing worked. He placed coffee in front of me. Relax. Relax? I woke up married to my emotionally constipated roommate who says we're just roommates. He actually laughed. That jerk laughed. I hate you, I muttered. He sipped his coffee. You liked me last night. I was drunk. You're still cute when you're yelling. Stop saying things like that. He didn't stop. Instead, he smirked. Roommates don't usually wake up holding each other. I'm gonna kill you. He leaned back. Then who's gonna make you breakfast? I groaned and slammed my head on the table. Why couldn't I have gotten a normal roommate? And more importantly, why did my heart skip when he said, "You said yes?" I stared at the ring like it was cursed. No worse, like it was about to explode. Jace, I said, barely breathing. Tell me this is some joke. Tell me you glued this on me for a TikTok prank or something. He blinked. I don't even use TikTok. Of course he didn't. He was the kind of guy who still used wired headphones. Okay, fine. What do you mean I said yes? He sat across from me, way too calm for someone who may or may not have accidentally married his roommate. We were on the rooftop. You said you wanted to marry someone who made you coffee every morning. I said I do. You said, same. Then you high-fived me and called me your husband. I groaned. That is not legally binding. You kissed me after. I froze. You're making that up. He didn't say anything, which meant he wasn't. I wanted to melt into the floor. I wanted to reverse time. I wanted to throw the entire previous night into the sea. Instead, I tried to pry off the ring again. Still wouldn't budge. He passed me butter. Try this. It helped me when I got my hands stuck in a vending machine once. You had a life before being annoyingly perfect? He smiled a little. Just a little. That smile is suspicious, I muttered, smearing butter on my finger like a lunatic. You're hiding something. What would I hide? You tell me, Mr. I have a ring prepared for a drunken marriage. He looked out the window, like he was thinking about something far away, or maybe just trying not to laugh. Whatever. I had bigger issues. Luca barged in 10 minutes later, as he usually did without knocking. Sup, lovers. I choked on my coffee. Jace didn't even flinch. How did you get in here? You gave me a spare key, remember? He walked straight to the fridge like he owned the place, then froze. Wait, is that a ring on your finger? No. Yes, Jace said. I glared at both of them. It's stuck, and it's not real. Why does it look real? Because it is, Jace added casually. Silver. Engraved inside too. Luca nearly dropped his soda. You engraved a ring? Wait, I said. There's something inside? I twisted the ring, finally noticing the tiny letters. It read, even if you forget, I won't. My heart thumped, loudly, like it knew something my brain didn't. You're kidding me, I whispered. Jace stood up. You hungry? I'm making ramen. I grabbed his wrist. Jace, what does that mean? He didn't answer, just looked at me, really looked, like he was trying to decide if he could tell me something, or if he should keep lying. Luca backed away slowly. I suddenly remember I have to vacuum my car. Yep, urgent. He left us alone. Why do you have a ring with that engraved in it? I asked. Who's it really for? There was a silence, the kind that creeps into your bones. Then Jace said, you. I waited for a laugh, a smirk, a punchline. None came. You said you wanted to feel chosen, not by accident, not as a second option, he said softly. I remembered. That made no sense. I didn't remember saying that, but it felt like something I would say, like something I'd cry about after 3 drinks and too many heartbreaks. I barely know you, I whispered. You live with me. You fight with me. You steal my hoodies. That's not love. No, he said. But I think it's where it starts. I spent the next day spiraling, avoiding eye contact, watching him from behind the door, Googling how to undo a drunken marriage. That's when I found something worse than the ring. Folder. On the kitchen counter. Labeled, Marriage Cert. I opened it. And there it was. A real signed document. My name. His name. Yesterday's date. And two very real witness signatures. One of them was our neighbor, Mrs. Kwan, who loved wine and chaos. No way, I gasped. Jace appeared behind me. Ah, you found it. We got married? You looked so happy, he said, almost guilty. I didn't think you'd freak out this much. You let me legally marry you while drunk? He shrugged. You kept calling yourself Eli Min Park. Oh my God. I paced the living room. My heart was punching my ribs. What do we even do now? Get divorced. His jaw clenched. That's what you want? I froze. I don't know what I want. Okay? I just woke up with a ring and a very annoying husband. He nodded slowly. Got it. Then he walked away. And for the first time since we became roommates, felt cold. Later that night, I found him on the rooftop. Hood up, hands in his pockets, looking at the city like it had answers. You really thought I wouldn't notice something was off? I asked quietly. He didn't look at me, just said, Go to sleep. No. Silence. Then he muttered, You're not supposed to remember me. I blinked. What? He finally turned, and his eyes looked nothing like the cool, sarcastic Jace I knew. They looked hurt. You knew me once, he said. Before. Before what? Before you forgot. And I moved in. My chest tightened. Jace, that doesn't make sense. It will, he whispered. Just not yet. I didn't know what to say, so I stepped closer. And for once, he didn't pull away. I'm scared, I admitted. I know. I'm not ready to be married. I didn't ask you to be, he said, voice low. You asked me. But I don't remember. He looked at me like he wanted to say 100 things. Then settled for, Then let me help you remember. Back inside, I sat on my bed, staring at the ring. I didn't take it off, even though I could now. It wasn't stuck anymore. But something in me didn't want to let go just yet. For the first time in weeks, Jace wasn't in the kitchen when I woke up. No coffee. No sarcastic good morning. No silent glances over toast. Just quiet. I walked into the living room, still in yesterday's hoodie, and froze when I saw him packing a bag. A big one. Like leaving for good kind of big. Where are you going? I asked. He zipped the bag slowly. Away. I felt something sharp in my chest. Why? You're scared. I don't want to make it worse. That's not. I paused. That's not your decision. He finally looked at me. His face was unreadable, but his hands were shaking. Barely, but I saw it. I'm not just your roommate, Eli, he said. And this isn't just a drunk mistake. I should have told you earlier. I crossed my arms, heart thudding. Told me what? He sighed. I'm not who you think I am. You've said that before. Try using more than 5 words this time. He dropped the bag, sat down, hands clasped tightly. My name isn't really Jace. It's Jae-sun Min. My brain clicked at the sound of the name. Min Min. The name on the ring. The name I had laughed about while drunk. Calling myself Eli Min Park. Wait, I breathed. Are you? From the Min family, yeah, he said bitterly. Heirs, corporates, all that trash. I sat down too fast and nearly knocked over the lamp. You're rich. He corrected. I walked away from all of it. Why? He looked away. Because I didn't want to marry the person they chose for me. And that person is? Daniel. The name hit the air like a punch. You ran away from an arranged marriage? Not just that, he said. I needed to disappear. So I changed my name, took my savings, enrolled here, and I needed someone to trust. Someone safe. And that someone was me? I said, stunned. He nodded. You didn't know who I was. You didn't ask questions. You yelled at me for leaving dishes in the sink. It felt normal. I didn't know whether to scream or laugh. So our accidental marriage wasn't really an accident? It wasn't the plan, he said quietly. But when it happened, I realized I didn't want to undo it. I stared at him, at the boy I thought I knew. You should have told me. I know. And Daniel? Does he know where you are? Jace's face went cold. Not yet. I opened my mouth when the doorbell rang. We both froze. Jace stood slowly, shoulders tight. I followed him. When he opened the door, I felt the temperature drop. Standing there in a designer suit, smug and sharp-eyed, was a guy who looked like he belonged on the cover of a scandal magazine. Found you, he said, like it was a game. Jace didn't move. Daniel. Daniel looked me up and down. So this is the famous husband. My blood chilled. I'm calling the police, I said, trying to sound brave. Daniel smiled. For what? Visiting an old friend. You're not welcome here, Jace said flatly. Jay, come on. This little game's gone on long enough. You married some random boy, got your headlines, now let's go back to real life. He's not random, Jay snapped. That made me flinch. Daniel's eyes narrowed. Fine, then let me be clear. He stepped inside, uninvited, tossed a manila envelope on the counter. A business deal worth $13 million. It dies if we don't marry, but I'm nice. I'll pay your husband a settlement. I walked over, opened the envelope. It was real. A check. $500,000. In my name. For an annulment, Daniel said smoothly. Simple. Clean. No hard feelings. Jace looked at me. I looked at him. And for once, I didn't feel confused. I felt furious. You think I'd sell my marriage for a paycheck? I said, shaking. Daniel shrugged. You'd be surprised how often that works. I walked right up to him, chest burning. I don't care if you're royalty or if your tie cost more than my rent. He's not going anywhere with you. He looked at Jace. You're really staying with him? Jace's hand found mine. I already chose. Daniel left with a slammed door and a face full of rejection. And then, the silence returned. I turned to Jace. What happens now? He looked down at our hands. I think it's your turn to choose. I squeezed his hand. I already did. We stood there like idiots, both not saying what we wanted to say. And then, because I didn't know what else to do, I leaned in and pressed my forehead against his. Not a kiss. Not yet. Just a moment. A silent, I'm not leaving. And his breath hitched like he believed me. Jace stopped sleeping. Not like insomnia. He stopped sleeping. He sat on the couch most nights. Hoodie pulled over his face. Phone turned off. Silent. Still. Like he was bracing for something. Hey, I said one night, sitting beside him. You're doing that thing again. What thing? The disappearing while still in the room thing. He didn't look at me. I'm just thinking. Try doing it without grinding your teeth. He gave a weak laugh. I nudged his shoulder. You still afraid of Daniel? No, he said. I'm afraid of what comes after. I stared at him. This boy who used to be just my roommate. This boy who used to annoy the hell out of me. Now he was something else. Still mysterious. Still frustrating. But mine. You're not alone anymore, I said. Remember. He finally looked at me. I'm trying to. A few days later, Jace got a call. He didn't answer it, but I saw the screen. Unknown number. Called 3 times in a row. Then, without warning, someone knocked on our door. I got there first. When I opened it, I saw a woman. Late 30s. Expensive coat. Sharp heels. A familiar smugness in her expression. You must be Eli, she said. Who's asking? Daniel's older sister. CEO of MinCorp now. Pleasure. She stepped inside without being invited. What was it with this family? Jace appeared behind me. He froze the second he saw her. Ah, she said. There he is. Our prodigal son. I'm not your anything, Jace muttered. She looked around like she was judging the furniture. This is where you've been hiding? Really? No driver, no security, no sense of style. I narrowed my eyes. Get to the point. She dropped a white envelope on the table. Again. Seriously, do rich people only communicate in envelopes? This is a legal notice, she said. If Jace doesn't annul the marriage by Friday, we will sue for breach of corporate contract and attempt to freeze his assets. I blinked. What assets? He has 2 mugs and a hoodie. She smiled coldly. You think he's poor? He walked away from over 20 million. But he's still legally tied to the family. Which means you are now a liability. She stepped closer. If you love him, you'll let him go. Before I could answer, Jace said, That's enough. His voice was shaking. You don't get to use my past like a knife, he said. I made a choice. You're just mad I didn't let you control it. Her expression hardened. You'll regret this. No, he said. I already did. That's why I left. She turned on her heels and walked out. And just like that, the air cracked. I didn't ask questions. Not yet. That night, Jace disappeared again. No message. No note. His bag was gone. His ring was gone too. Only his hoodie was folded on my bed. I sat there for hours, hoping it was a joke. He'd walk back in. Say he forgot his charger. Make a sarcastic comment. But the apartment stayed silent. Cold. Empty. I didn't cry. I just stopped moving. Everything felt loud and quiet at the same time. When I finally checked the kitchen table, I found an envelope. Just like the others. But this one was different. It was from him. Inside were 3 things. A letter that simply said, I had to protect you. I'm sorry. A photo of us, blurry. But he was smiling. Really smiling. Plane ticket. To Seoul. With my name on it. Departure. Saturday. The next morning I went to the airport. No hesitation. No fear. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that if I didn't go, I'd regret it forever. The flight was long. But my heart didn't rest. I landed, stepped out into the cold air, and looked around like a lost puppy. Then I saw him. Hood up. Hands in pockets. Ring back on his finger. His eyes met mine and I knew. He never really left. He just needed me to come find him. It was snowing. Not the heavy, stormy kind. The soft kind that felt like the world was holding its breath. Jace stood by the exit, face shadowed under his hoodie, like he hadn't slept in days. Neither had I. He didn't move when he saw me, just stared like he was afraid I was a ghost. So I walked up, stood in front of him, not saying anything. He finally spoke. I didn't think you'd come. I pulled the ticket from my pocket. You really thought I'd ignore a handwritten guilt trip and an overpriced flight to Korea? His lips twitched, but his eyes were glassy, tired. Sorry, he whispered. I thought I was protecting you. Yeah, I said. But you forgot one thing. He blinked. What? That I never needed protection. I needed you. The snow stuck in his lashes. His breath fogged the air. I messed everything up, he said. Dragged you into something dangerous. Used you to run from my family. Lied. Married you drunk. I grabbed his hand. Jace. He looked at me. You're my home now, I said. Even when you're complicated. Even when you vanish. Even when you annoy me with your no-emotion face and weird habit of folding my socks. He blinked, stunned. I'm not going anywhere, I finished. So either marry me for real this time, or stop making me fall harder. He laughed. Really laughed like he hadn't in forever. Cracked something open between us. I already married you, he said. I grinned. Yeah, but I was drunk, remember? You gotta ask me sober. He pulled something out of his coat. A small, square box. My heart stopped. You brought a ring? I gasped. He opened it. It wasn't a new ring. It was the same one. The silver one I wore that night. The one with the engraving. Even if you forget, I won't. I kept it, he said. Because even when I was hiding everything, I still meant it. He slipped it onto my finger again. No pressure this time. No confusion. Just him. Me. A snow-covered airport. And the softest, most honest moment we'd ever had. I love you, he said. And that was the first time he'd ever said it out loud. I didn't answer with words. I kissed him. Right there, with strangers rushing past, luggage rolling, snowflakes landing on our cheeks. He kissed back. Warm. Real. Ours. 1 year later, we were still in the same apartment. Still fighting over laundry. Still arguing about takeout. Still just roommates, according to the lease. But our hands found each other without thinking. His hoodie was my hoodie now. My name was still mine. But I liked how his sounded next to it. And the ring? It never came off again.